Welcome to episode 9 of the Great Southern Rail Trail. In this episode we are travelling from Toora to Welshpool and Port Welshpool. This is a 10.2 kilometre leg to Welshpool and then another 5 kilometre travel via a side trail to Port Welshpool. Hi everyone, welcome back to Borough Country. I'm Peter, and as you can see we're currently riding out of Toora. On the left was where the original train platform was. The platform's still there, and on the right there you can see a big white building, and that was the milk factory in Toora. So today as we head out, as we've said, it's 10.2 kilometre ride to Welshpool, and then there is a trail going from Welshpool 5 kilometres down to the water's edge, and that is Port Welshpool, and we'll be heading down that way on this episode. So although that trip down there is not technically part of the Great Southern Rail Trail in a single line, if you like, it is an offshoot and absolutely worth going down there and having a look. And it's one of my favourite places to go and visit. Absolutely fabulous fishing area. So a little bit of information about Welshpool as we get underway. So Welshpool has a population of around about 330 or more. At the last census anyway, that's what the numbers were. It is 194 kilometres southeast of Melbourne, and if you're driving from Melbourne down to Welshpool and Port Welshpool, it's going to take you about 2.5 hours. Welshpool, like Toora, is close to a number of tourist areas such as Agnes Falls, the Toora National Park. Those are just a short drive away from either Toora or Welshpool. And Welshpool, as you'll see as we head down in that connection between Welshpool and Port Welshpool, it has a 9-hole golf course as well as quite a number of places to stay, including a caravan park right down near the long jetty, which is well named because it is very long. It's 900 metres long and goes a long way out into the water. So great for families to go land fishing from. So the area now known mostly as Port Welshpool was first used as early as around the 1830s, and it was used by whalers in the area, and it was officially named Welshpool in 1851. The area that we now know as Port Welshpool was actually not called that. It was all part of the one place. It was all named Welshpool up until about 1952, when it was then had the name Port Welshpool added to that area. The jetties that are existing there in Welshpool, or Port Welshpool I should say, was built originally to assist with loading cattle and timber, and also fish catchers, so they could be transported to the railway. And the railway arrived in around about 1891, and in 1892 a railway station was opened in Port Welsh, or I should say in the town of Welshpool, and that's where that township came from. There's a heritage listed cottage in Port Welshpool that was built in 1873, and it is now a museum for the marine area there. As I said, there is a caravan park called the Long Jetty Caravan Park right down near the jetty itself. There's a general store in the town, a hotel, and cafe and restaurant is there as well. Inside Welshpool itself, there are a couple of cafe areas. There is a hotel there, and there is also a petrol station there, and two of the little shops there also act as general stores. If you need to go to a supermarket, if you were staying down there and you wanted to go to a bigger supermarket, the closest one is going to be either in Toora or Yarram. We've now really travelled away from the hills and the Strzelecki Ranges, and although they are there over to the left, and you can still see some of the hills, nowhere near as high as what we started off at back in places like Korumburra, but now we're in more of a flattened plain area. You can also see that as the landscape changes, that our road is very straight, no longer needing to curve around hills, in order to find those gentle inclines that trains needed in the past to travel along. And so we have some very straight routes along here, running along, particularly in the last 20 kilometers or so, and now heading this way. Now just here you can see there's a magpie has decided to come and have a go at me, but I have got installed on the back of my helmet, and you'll see them flapping around there, is some reflective ribbon, and that is supposedly, and it seemed to work for us, and we've got a couple of shorts of what happens when you're not got that on and what happens when you do. So please have a look at those shorts of the magpies. But basically it deters swooping birds from actually attacking you like directly. So they might come out, they'll see it, they'll either hear the noise that's coming off them, or they'll see the reflective nature on there. And I also have quite a lot of reflective patches on the top of my helmet as well. Same reason why we put some reflective patches on top of our drone, for the same reason. The birds don't seem to like those reflective patches, and it just keeps them away and everybody's happy. we're now arriving in Welshpool. So this is the end of the 10.2 kilometre leg into Welshpool, and here's just a view back from the trail that we've been on, and then just around this very small town here of Welshpool, and that's the main highway going through town. And there you can just see the park there and the trail going through, and that's where the old rail station was. And there's a view out to the sea and Wilson's Promontory. So here we are back on the trail, and as we come across the road here, if you cross the road and then head around to the left, so if you're looking for toilets or going into the township, just cross the road here and then turn a left. Now if you go straight ahead up into the town, obviously there's over on the far corner there on the left is the hotel. There's also the petrol station there, and there's a couple of shops, and over almost directly in front of us but across the road is a cafe. But just here are the toilets, and there is water. These toilets are kept clean, they're very clean. Certainly get 2.5 Burra ducks on the Burra duck scale. And here you can see from standing up within the township, there's a sign there heading down to Port Welshpool, and over there is the petrol station. And you can see there was a couple of vintage cars. There was actually a collection of cars the day we were there, and they're around the hotel there. Just another view of the shops in town. There is a post office there, and there's the cafe. So now we're just going to head through the park area here from the toilets. There is an information set up just in front of us under this cover here, so there's a little information about the area there. And then as you head down this way, you come back onto the Great Southern Rail Trail, and over on the left there you can see the platform still sitting there. Now if you go left here, that will head you off to Alberton and then to Yarram, but we're going to go straight ahead here. And so instead of heading off up to Alberton today, we're going to follow down here, and there is a sign saying it's now another 5 kilometres down this way, and this is the way down to Port Welshpool. So you can go down to the water's edge here as we've been talking about. So just follow this down and you'll end up in Port Welshpool. We will be coming back in our next episode and commencing from just back there at the rail platform and heading off to Alberton and Yarram in episode 10. So just here on our left is the Welshpool Golf Course. Further down the trail and had a bit of a chat. They are well travelled on the rail trails and around on their e-bikes around this area. Very friendly fellows to talk to and knew the area very, very well. Sorry I didn't get your names, but thanks for the chat and the information. So once you get off the end of the trail, just keep heading straight ahead. You will have to travel down this road and cross the main road at Port Welshpool, and that will take you over there on the right is where the toilets are. So there's a little picnic area and toilet area. It's very nice and again very clean, and a great mural inside the information building there. So just head up into there. There's the toilets just there. The path itself heads around to the right, and it's now a shared pathway that takes you all the way down to Long Jetty. Again, toilets are very clean and certainly earn their 2.5 burrow ducks. Out of Burra Country, and we'll be heading back to, well, there's some of the Burra Country crew that have come down to pick me up. Thank you, ladies. Really appreciate being picked up after some of these rides. Just in front of us is the Long Jetty jetty itself, and a great place to go fishing, and you'll catch the largest calamari I've ever seen off there. So a great place to take the family. So yeah, thank you for joining us in this episode. The next episode we'll be heading out from Welshpool and at the platform, and we'll be heading off to Alberton and then to Yarram. And yes, for those who know the trail, there is an offshoot from Alberton where you can go down to Port Albert. We won't be covering that in this series, but we will be going back there to do an episode on that trail. It'll just be a short one that we do. So this is just a quick walkout onto Long Jetty. It is filmed on a different day, and so you can see the weather is quite different all of a sudden, and it was very windy on this day, but this was just to give you a bit of an example of how long this jetty really is. But it is a great place to go to, and this is a great place to come to if you want to do some fishing from a wharf. Fabulous fishing area. See you next time in Burra Country.